And so there was, and even in our relationship, there's so many unexpected, so many things that look different than we expected. So we really both had to learn how to, okay, God.
Become unlearned.
Yeah, yep. Because when you recognize that there's a grace on something, that something is different, it looks different, it feels different than what you expect, but at the same time is what you're asking for.
Yeah.
You got to really go to God like, okay, because that's how they miss Jesus. Like this is the Messiah in front of you, but because he didn't come the way they expected him to come, they missed Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I never want to miss my promise.
Yeah.
Because they said the word of the Lord is kingdom marriages is happening, so they need to see kingdom cooking.
That's right.
How we met, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that. Yeah. How y'all met while y'all cooking?
I want me to jump right in?
Go for it. I can grab the stuff. I'm new to this kitchen, so this is actually the first taping, and we've only been here for 2 weeks. So
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Just barely 2 weeks.
I love it.
But going back to how we met, I had started a food truck in Austin on 6th Street.
Okay.
With my sister. And my sister has 2 kids and was going through a lot with the previous marriage. And she started out helping me, doing good, but at the same time she was still working another job. We were very transparent. We were all about real life, real talk, real Jesus.
Come on now.
And so, long story short, started a food truck in Austin, needed some help because my sister just got to the point with working another job, taking care of 2 boys, going through stuff in her marriage. She just couldn't do it anymore. And so, I started working the truck by myself. And about, I think 2 or 3 weeks in, going from having 2 people to help and just doing it on myself, I was like, burning the candle at both ends. And so I started telling God I can't do it anymore because now we're going into a month in and I'm still by myself working a food truck and just not being able to get as much done as I want to. So I'm like, I can't afford help, but I need help.
Yes.
And during this time, I'm still in California here and moved to Texas.
Okay. Okay.
And my sister and I were. It was during the pandemic, and shortly after it was ending, and I remember saying, I gotta go scout the land because I don't know what part God you want me to move to, and I was here in Austin, and I was following, at that time, because everything was shut down, so of course I'm still listening out for a voice of confirmation, not signs. Confirmation.
Yeah.
Of what do you say, God? So I was on this YouTube channel, and she was from Austin, and later on, probably about 8 months later, I hear Austin. So here we go. Go ahead.
So, man, I'm trying to make a long story
It's a multi-layered
long story short.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I really needed help with my food truck. I felt like I wanted to quit, but I don't know how to quit. I don't believe in quitting. And so I got to the point where it's like, okay, I got to take this prayer to another level. And this is around the same time where, I don't know if it came out before then, but I first heard the song Wait on the Lord by Maverick City.
Yes.
Man.
That has been my jam.
Yes.
Wait on
So,
the Lord. Yeah.
That's it. So I'm at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just finishing with my last bit of orders, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday or Saturday, something like that. And I put this song on while I'm cleaning and getting things together, and I just break down. Like it's all this weight is on me, and I just finally just break down.
Let
I'm
it out.
in the bottom of my food truck, laying prostrate, crying.
Come
like,
on.
Send me help. I need help in the name of Jesus, because I'm not gonna let this vision die. I'm not gonna let this dream die. So I'm praying in the food truck, praying hard. I had been praying up to this point, but not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I go from praying in the food truck to a couple of days later. I meet a guy and I'm like, I just need help. So I hired this guy, but I probably shouldn't hire this guy. I got a little desperate.
You didn't wait on it a long
Oh, let me get out the camera. Sorry, y'all. I'm laughing all in the mic.
And so this guy's helped me out about 2 days, and then all of a sudden, like 2 days after he's helped me, a day, maybe about 2 days, here comes this lady here. She's just getting off work on another food truck.
Oh.
I didn't wait on the Lord. I fell on the food truck.
Tired and hungry, and she's leaning on my. Well, I don't know if you want to go into the story about how
Yeah,
you found
so prior to that, I came to Austin thinking I was just coming to open up a restaurant, and I made some connection, but unfortunately, the connection, she only wanted like pro-black, and I said, oh, well, I thought you said you were saved.
Oh.
And so I kind of, no, I didn't come this far,
Yeah.
you know, to make this about black, because the God I know is a God of humanity.
Come on now.
So I declined immediately.
Wisdom.
And I said, God, I don't know why I'm here, but I was I found my apartment in Austin, 2 weeks, kind of slept on my luggage. I opened that up. My furniture came in, so now I'm getting situated by here. You're only gonna be here for 6 months. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start the cooking show. I already started it in California. However, I just got on the air 2 weeks later, as soon as the furniture came in. But I'm hearing more and more people, especially my sister, Melissa. Hey, Missy. Keita, God get you ready for your husband. God get you ready for your husband.
Come on now. Prophesy.
Come on. But now, you know, not that I was bitter or anything. I just wasn't.
She wasn't focused on that at all.
I wasn't focused on that at all.
Why God sent you a woman that wasn't trying to get married? I don't know.
Ah! God works in mysterious ways.
It's a lot of grace.
So, oh, by the way, we're making.
Yeah, what y'all making? I'm sorry.
He didn't know yet. He just kind of getting in
Oh,
where he
my bad.
fit in. No, you're good.
Oh.
No, you're good. What you're doing. We're making shrimp and shrimp tacos, and we're also making. It's been a while since I've gone live, so y'all bear with me.
Yeah.
Shrimp tacos and brown lamb tacos. While he was on the food truck asking for help, I hit the land. I'm now in Austin, Texas, in my own apartment. I thought I came to open up a restaurant in Austin, and this is it. And then I'm also hearing, when I say hearing, you know, I'm talking about the voice of the Lord.
Yeah. Yes.
Go to Joshua Church, because you know, as a Christian, we had to find a good church home. And so
Who is Joshua?
I found out later.
Well, this is the thing. We both in Austin at the time. She here and go to Joshua Church. I'm here and go to Joshua Church. But in Austin, the only Joshua Church, there's a church called Joshua Church.
Yeah.
And it's a multicultural church.
Oh,
And
I'm thinking you talking about Believers Connection.
And we were, but we didn't know. You know, sometimes
Okay. You gotta
hear,
try to. You
but we
gotta
know in
try
I
parts.
didn't meet him yet.
Right.
I didn't meet him yet.
And,
I was in my own apartment.
and I didn't know I was moving to Dallas yet. I had to meet
Okay.
her first, and then we connect, and then.
Yeah. Well, before you go into
Okay.
the Dallas part, we're still in Austin.
Yeah.
And he's on his food truck. I just got to the land. I'm doing the food, the cooking show of what you're craving for, and finally it gets to the point where I was like, I need to get a church after I declined the offer for the collab with the restaurant owner. So I was like, the pandemic lifted, I'm ready to get back in the house of the Lord and fellowship and get around the body.
Right, yeah.
And so I heard Joshua Church, and I said, okay. So I found Joshua Church online, and praise the Lord. I'm like, this don't feel like where I'm supposed to be, but I'm gonna praise you anyhow. So I said, well, maybe I'm supposed to connect. I'm still got restaurant on my mind. Maybe I'm supposed to connect with the pastor because he did say he was a cook. Because somehow he mentioned he was a cook. So I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, but I still don't. It's a fulfillment, and then it's a fulfillment in purpose when you know when you're in alignment. And that didn't, even though I was in the land, it still was some more questions I should have asked, but I'm at Joshua Church.
You being obedient.
Yep. But go ahead, Dave, you're going to pick up from there.
So long story short, I'm gonna say it like 5 times. Long story short,
It's a long story.
we came to the food truck, tired, hungry. I'm about to close because she's looking for I'm gonna give her part. She normally tells us part, but she was actually looking for a Mediterranean truck.
Yeah.
And she was talking to her friend Missy on her little fanny pack pouch.
I had a green fanny pack. I just threw that away today.
It was black.
No.
It was black. The green one came afterwards. You had a little black fanny pack.
Got a good memory.
Come on now. Remember when he met his wife?
Yep. Look, there were certain things. She even gave away an outfit that I liked when I first met her. I was like, why do you give that outfit away? You know I like that outfit. We're gonna come to that another time. We'll come to that.
Forgive me.
But
it's coming out.
But she came to the food truck after talking to her friend Missy on the phone, and they were looking for a Mediterranean food truck. She doesn't normally do this, and like I said, she normally tells us part of the story. But she had passed by several other trucks on the way to my truck, and normally she's gonna stop and get something good. She passed the Italian truck, she passed the Brazilian truck. And
it's downtown Austin.
Yeah.
With a lot of selections.
Then she comes in the food truck park where I am, and past another like little French truck, and she comes down to where I am, and I don't know remember what you asked me?
Oh, so let me back up a little bit. When I was on the phone with my sister Melissa, she was like, well, let's try Indian food, and I went online. I couldn't get the Indian food. I went online and I saw the Mediterranean food, and then we were also looking for a place like a little lounge, somewhere decent, just to sit down and enjoy the view of a new state we're in. Because by this time she's scouting the land. She heard Texas before I did, actually, when we were talking about it back in California.
Okay.
We were roommating together, and so her and her daughter, hey Desiree. So finally, it gets to the point where I was like, I don't know what we're gonna eat, but I've never had this happen on my DoorDash, and I'm too tired to drive anywhere.
Because her DoorDash wasn't.
It would not take my card. It kept the places I put in the order. It said they're closed. Like it was a lot, and I was like, what is going on?
The Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And so
What's that you normally say, that either you're gonna go, somebody gotta pray for you or you gotta pray for somebody?
No, that was my first time saying that, because I'm in a land that I'm unfamiliar with. So I said, this is a pull. And I told Melissa, I said, either I'm going to pray for somebody or somebody praying for me. And she said, well, you gotta go then. Either way, we're gonna get some food. We know that's part of the plan. But God using the food, right?
Yeah.
So we get to the point where she's the friend, I always give this testimony, she's the friend that gets on your nerves in a good way. You got your car keys, you got this, you got this, you got this, you got your mind. I got my mind, Jesus. So I told her, and she was in my fanny pack while I was driving. I told her, I need you to get on my nerves tonight because I'm that tired. I was that tired because I failed on the food truck 3 days before that.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, moving fast because I'm thinking I gotta get a job now and go to Joshua Church because the restaurant didn't work out. So I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna work on, I'm gonna stack up and get my own restaurant.
Yeah. The
That
Lord
was
was laughing at you.
Yes. Like, let me slow
You
this girl
want to
down.
see God laugh? Tell him your plans.
Yep.
True story.
So she's asking me what I got left on the food truck, And I was like, I'm about to close. I think I have.
He
a
was
little
sitting
bit of-
down like this, with his head down,
Yeah.
and I knew he was praying. I knew he was praying.
And I was like, I don't have that much stuff since we're about to close, but let me see what I got for you. So I'm like, oh, I got some red beans and rice, and I can do a shrimp po' boy or a fish po' boy.
That is more than enough.
He started pulling that food out. I said,
All of a sudden, I started wanting her to sample stuff. So I'm like, oh, I got some macaroni and cheese left, and oh, I got them. I just started giving her little samples of stuff. And as we're talking, I'm telling her, for some reason, I don't know why, I started telling her.
His whole life story.
I don't know if she asked me or I just started telling her. Sometimes she'll pull stuff out of you, and you're like, oh, I done told it too much. And so we start talking, and she's asking about the food truck, and I'm telling her about how we started and what happened, and basically that I need help, and keep my sister in prayers because she's going through a lot. And
I'm on the phone with my sister though, and this is what she says, like any other good sister would say, he sounds cute. I said, how you know he'd be cute? He said, because he had a mask on and a hat on.
yeah, this is 2021.
Yes.
This is literally 2021 in the heat of COVID.
In the heat of COVID.
Wow.
He has a full-blown food truck. Yep.
And then so when I'm telling her my story before she leaves, she's like, well, let's pray. She said, I'm gonna pray for you.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. But then I see her get ready to actually bob her head right at the window of the food truck to pray. I'm like, oh, that's different. That's not like, people say I'll pray for you and then they go home and sometimes they forget or they remember they said a 2-second prayer. No, she was about to pray right then and there.
Pray now.
And I said, oh, that's what I'm used to. That's kind of, the church I came from, we taught that like, hey, if you're going to pray for somebody, pray for somebody.
Right then and there.
Right then and there. Go ahead and get that blessing out the way.
Yeah, and one day the enemy snatched that word.
Yeah. And so when she did that, I said, oh, wait for me. So I put some hand sanitizer. Well, I gave her some hand sanitizer. I put a little bit on myself. And then we went ahead and prayed.
Well, let me say this before we get to the prayer. The reason why, because you just don't pray with anybody.
Yeah.
But when he was telling me his story, I said, what did I say for you to say?
Oh, you said in your head that this is a in the name of Jesus type of prayer or something like that.
No, he said, oh, I know I'm gonna be okay, but he had his back turned just like that, because I have faith. And I was like, he's not talking about just faith in himself. That sounds like something, he didn't have to say in the name of Jesus. I know the way he said, I have faith. I said, that's some Jesus faith.
Come on now.
And so
that's a man of God.
That's a man of God. That's some kingdom language right there.
Glory to God.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, man.
And so like I said, when she was like serious about prayer, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pray with you. So I'm in the food truck and she outside the food truck and we hold hands like this praying.
Come on now.
I try, and of course your flesh try to rise. I'm like, oh, her hands are soft. Focus on the prayer. Focus
My
on
Lord,
the
yes,
prayer.
Missy's still in the couch. Missy's still in the
Focus
couch the whole
on the
time.
prayer. And so we,
She said, girl, you know how to pray too?
yeah.
I said, I'm not looking at him like that.
So her and her friend Missy was looking for a place to come and hang out the next night too.
Oh, you gotta give that connection though.
What's
The
that?
Mediterranean place that I was looking for, walking around Austin. Do you know where this place is?
That's the truck that I was renting out.
That was
used to be a Mediterranean
closed.
place. Yep.
That he opened up Tex Orleans.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Yeah.
I actually called the manager before I headed to him, seeing that they had a little lounge there, but his English was a little broken.
Yeah.
So he just was like, no, close. So I was like, I'm gonna find this place. I thought it was a spam when he called back. He called me back after I called the number that was online for the Mediterranean place.
You ain't never on water?
No. We don't get to cooking. Yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah. But go ahead, babe. You can pick it up.
Well, I don't even know where I was.
I'm sorry.
Y'all prayed, and then what happened after that?
So,
We praying and she's
You talking
going
about her
in.
hand sauce.
Yeah, her
While she
her
going in
hands
the Holy
soft.
Ghost.
And I'm trying to stay in the Holy Spirit, like, okay, God, I'm not focusing on these hands. I'm focusing on the prayer. I don't know this woman, but I thank God for her heart, her prayer, but we made a connection, and so she says that she's looking for a place for her and her friend. They live in Austin, from California, and they're looking for a place to hang out the next night. So I tell her, hey, at this time, I'm actually in charge of the music.
Which was the lounge place
of the food truck lounge. So we got seating, we got lights, we have our own music, and I'm putting some PJ Morton on, I'm putting some oldies on, I'm putting some Christian hip hop on, I'm putting I like to have fun with Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, come on.
So
have
it's
fun.
not you're gonna have a good time. We're gonna bump some Lecrae, we're gonna bump some KB and we're gonna do some second line New Orleans stuff. We can do some jazz, or if you want to throw back oldies, we can go Rat Pack. We can do all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Whatever kind of mood you're in, we can find a Christian way to do it, unless it's something that's wild. We don't do the wild.
So he's literally telling me all this, and I'm looking at him, and like, what is going on? Why am I feeling this way? I'm sitting on a bench, and he's talking to me through the food truck window. And so I had to kind of like, boy, we both talk a lot, though. That's what I was thinking. We'll be good business partners. So I used the word, what word did I say?
Business partners. Y'all gonna be more than business partners,
The second night or the first night?
The first night when I was talking about submitting.
Put me in time now.
Oh, so this is when you told me about that, I believe, when you came back. So,
okay.
So when she came back and she was telling me about that God put me on her heart, and she wants to work with me, and she just wants to come and learn and receive and submit and grow. And
I used the word submit.
she used the word submit.
Submit.
And for some reason, like, it was already enough when she was saying, like, and not only that, she said you don't even have to pay me right now, like, whenever you can. So first of all,
I'm gonna submit for free.
I'm already like thinking, wait a minute. She said she gonna come and help me before she knew what the pay is. She said she wanna come and learn from me before she know what the pay is. She said she wanna come and submit, and I'm like, submit? That's some kind of submit.
That's some marriage
That's
language.
marriage, like, yeah. I'm like, you don't normally hear that. And I love all women. I love especially my beautiful black queens. But you normally hear that from black women, especially from the jump, talking about they're gonna come and learn from you.
Immediately submit.
Man, so it actually rang something. It was like, oh, that's wow. I was like, it was just a wow. And
she's special.
And then at the end of it, she said, and you can pay me whenever you can. And that spoke leaps and bounds.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this other dude gotta go. He ain't even cutting the shutter anyway. So he actually quit before I could even let him go.
Praise God.
Yes. So God worked it out where he worked by himself right on out, and she worked her way right on in. But everything we did together, it seemed like it was more of just learning each other. Conversation after conversation.
No business, no talking about no recipes, no business, no food truck.
Lord forgive me. It was all about
each other.
Come
on now.
Yes.
I'm I'm doing less work now that we done met. Which I asked for. I asked God to make it easier, but I was like, okay, we got to get to work. We talking a lot, and this is fun. This is great. And at the moment, I didn't realize it was going so fast, and I was enjoying it so much.
It was on the acceleration.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a prophetic word. Acceleration. Come on now.
But yeah, it was all God.
Wow.
Funny thing is, I think the best thing that came from me starting a food truck in Austin was meeting my wife on the food truck. That was a big powerful thing. And during our marriage, like, as we're getting prepared for marriage, because I believe believers, we should be dating with purpose. You're not just dating to go hang out, have fun, dating to
courting
appease your
with
flesh.
purpose, you mean? Courting with purpose.
Courting purpose. And I love my wife says dating is really gaining data. So if you're dating somebody, it shouldn't take you long to gain enough data to know if they have potential to lead into court.
And Christ as kingdom relationship.
It shouldn't take very long to go from the gaining data stage until a courting stage of getting ready for a marriage type of thing. And
but with y'all was God ordained.
It had to be
because this wasn't no just we trying to find each other. Y'all, the Lord literally placed y'all together.
How long you waited?
Oh man, I probably hadn't had a serious date in like 13 years before.
And
Wow.
I was engaged
Yeah.
6 months before.
Yeah. In like 13 years, I took maybe one girl out for coffee after bowling.
13 years.
And no, we weren't even going saying bowling. Like my job was setting us up for bowling, and I saw a young lady that maybe I had some potential. So I asked her, "If you want to go for coffee?"
Mm-hmm.
It was the most boring coffee date. We both knew that
Ain't gonna work.
ain't gonna work, and that was the only like probably close to a date in like 13 years because I had already knew it had to be purpose behind it. So for some reason, God wasn't highlighting anybody to me, wasn't revealing anybody to me that had that purpose, that they were beautiful on the inside and out.
God, how to
That
cook right now.
Look at y'all now, right?
You gotta hold to your standards, because otherwise what happens is if you don't hold to your standards, you throw off a restraint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says without the Bible says something, I'm gonna paraphrase, like without a vision we cast off restraint. And if you don't have a vision and follow the vision that God's given you, you're gonna find yourself bending in some areas that you shouldn't have, and all of a sudden that restraint, and then you're wondering like, okay, God, how did I get in this position? Just like David on the rooftop, you're supposed to be in the war, but you out here chilling on the rooftop. That's not where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so we got to make sure we stay off those rooftops when we're supposed to be in war. And so I just kind of for a long time was like, hey, I'm wanting to get married. I'm looking for my wife, but I'm not seeing.
He had a few family members even laugh, right? Like that's not how it's going to work.
Oh yeah. Like when I told my best friend and myself, we both knew like when I find my wife, it ain't gonna take long. When I, cause I ain't gonna play no games. We gonna get to the nitty gritty. Like, okay, are you this type of person? Or are you this type of person? Because if you have enough, the main thing is if you have enough Jesus, we can get through anything.
Period.
If you have enough, like everybody's different. She's from California. I'm from New Orleans. That's two different
completely
worlds.
different.
Age difference. And so there was, and even in our relationship, there's so many unexpected, so many things that look different than we expected. So we really both had to learn how to, okay, God.
Become unlearned.
Yeah. Yep. Because when you recognize that there's a grace on something, that something is different, it looks different, it feels different than what you expect, but at the same time is what you're asking for.
Yeah.
You got to really go to God like, okay, because that's how they miss Jesus. Like this is the Messiah in front of you, but because he didn't come the way they expected him to come, they missed Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I never want to miss my promise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
And so I thank God we.
So wait, what was about you was telling your family or something? You were saying your best friend.
My best friend, he knew I wouldn't have to stay long, but I had a sister. I was telling her about when I find my wife, I'm gonna find my wife soon.
She
and get married.
understands now, though.
Yeah. And she was like, it doesn't work like that. Like you're not gonna just find your wife and then be married. Like I told her by such a time I was gonna be married, and she was like, it doesn't work like that because you got to get to know somebody. And she was going down the line of the typical way. I'm like, no. I said when God put it together, you're gonna see. And it was no arguing or anything like that. It was just when she saw how it happened with me and her, she was like, you said it was gonna happen.
How did y'all know that y'all were each other's? Like, how did God work?
Me or him?
I'll start first. Because mine is easy.
Okay.
Mine is real easy. So first of all,
remember he grew up in church too. So
yeah. First of all, I had a list of must-haves for marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some things that were like I could bend on, and there are other things that like no, these are musts.
Non-negotiables.
I gotta be attracted to you. You gotta be saved. You gotta love Jesus for real. You gotta be a person that will put Jesus before me because I'm gonna put Jesus before you, which you're supposed to do. He is our life. Now you may be first, but he is my whole life.
Come on.
I learned it from Pastor Josh. Somebody that we click. Somebody that knows how to cook. That was one of my things. That was a non-negotiable. If you don't know how to cook, at least be teachable. At least if you either know how to cook or be teachable, because I'm not gonna be. I wasn't raised like that. But I don't. I've been married for 2 years now, so I don't remember the whole list. But those were like some of the top things. I was like, okay, gotta be saved, like truly saved.
Yes.
You know, gotta love
True
God.
relationships.
And you gotta be somebody I'm attracted to. You gotta be somebody I can talk to. You gotta be somebody that I know will protect my heart.
Yeah.
Because I'm a love hard. So if you're not somebody that will protect my heart, then
Yeah.
it's not gonna work. Because I'm gonna do my best to love you with all I got.
Yeah.
But with her, it was a lot of she is so different. She's still today more different than anybody I've ever met. And she's very special to God. She's very special to me.
Yeah.
Some of the things that make me that just still to this day put me in awe is if you really know the fullness of her testimony of all she's been through abuses, neglect, rape, family strife, and I don't even want to go into her testimony because I want her to be able to share it, but there's just you if you could think about some of the worst things that can happen to a person, some of those things she's been through, and yet she still wasn't bitter. She still loved the people that hurt her. She still cared about the family. She still cared about, and there was no root of bitterness in her at all, even through that. And so that was different to me. Then as we're talking and getting to know each other, like I said, something is she's being highlighted to me. Like God is showing me her and in so many different lights, in so many different ways. And so I'm recognizing that even though one of the things I never desired to marry somebody older than me, but I'm like, this is somebody I could be with, even though she is older than me, even though she is taller than me. I've always expected, okay, you've got to be right here or lower. I'm not. But those are superficial things. If you lean into the flesh, you're going to get caught up in stuff that really. 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 years age gap. And,
Wow.
Talking about the Lord, restoring the youth.
Come on now. You're a young man. Young.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they always call me Papa too, so I've always been.
Yeah,
I've always been
kinda
old.
old.
So come on now. So how did you know that she was the lady that you wrote down on your?
Another thing was, one of the main things was, how sometimes life takes us through things where you can't believe you've done something. You can't believe that. You thank God that you delivered. You think that you passed it, but you come through some stuff and you're like, I don't want them skeletons to ever come out. And I found myself she's so transparent. I found myself talking to her about stuff that I didn't know if I was going to tell my wife. Now here we are, we're not even really dating at this point.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, she's actually transparent, and I'm feeling so comfortable with her that I'm willing to tell her stuff
The whole life story.
Man.
Bear it all. When I was 3 years old,
like you would only tell your best friend type of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, here I am telling her stuff that I wasn't even sure if I was telling my wife. Like I would have that in my plan that, hey, that was the past. That's old stuff. You ain't gotta be moving on to the future. But I'm not saying this everybody has to have the same testimony. Everybody's situation is different. But for me, that was another illumination point where, okay, I can be completely transparent. I don't have to have any secrets with her. And so that was a big, okay, this she has potential. Because God doesn't make us, I had to learn this too, like God's not going to choose your spouse for you. You have to choose your spouse. Yeah. He'll present. He'll highlight people to you. He'll present, but you have to make that choice. And I literally had an argument kind of with an apostle about that. Like I was like, no, if God gonna tell me what kind of this to do or where to go here and what kind of business and if God directs every other path of my life, He's gonna show me who to marry because that's the most important thing in my life. No, He gonna highlight some people and you gotta make the choice. That you and that other person have to make the choice. And that's what's biblical. That's what's biblical. Yeah.
What about Isaac and Rebecca? He sent Rebecca out right as who was praying? The servant was praying. Abraham, yeah.
Abraham gave instructions to the servant, right?
Yeah.
The servant. So the servant, as he was praying for Isaac's wife, Rebecca pops up.
Yep. So God presented her, just like He did with Adam. He presented, He highlighted, but they still have the choices. They had the choice to say whether they were gonna choose that or not. So even though this is somebody you know, sometimes God put a special person in your midst. I could have missed her.
Yeah.
Actually, I almost did it because here I am, like we catching feelings and we catching each other in the spirit real fast. And all of a sudden, I'm holding her hand. I'm like, how am I holding her hand right now? And I'm like, we supposed to just be business partners. What's going on?
It's more than
This
business.
is more than business. And so I asked her, like, okay, we're not even dating, so I need to find out if I talk to somebody else,
Yes.
you know, that comes to the truck, because we not, you know, we getting close, but I don't know where we are.
Yeah.
And of course, that's gonna be up to me. But at this point, I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. It was fear. It was fear, and it was uncertainty. It was a lot
I
of.
literally started crying.
What?
Was that the time I started crying?
I don't know.
No, I didn't cry. I cried another time when I've been pulling, like
Yeah.
how we feel if we're grieving the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
how it felt.
Yeah. This time she didn't cry, but she was brutally honest, and
Very
she told me
honest.
if I was to talk to somebody, like as we're working on the truck, and I was to start talking to somebody else, that she would have to leave. She's because we've already passed this hurdle of being more than just business partners.
Yeah.
She'd have to leave, and so for me, it wasn't her saying, "Oh, you gotta choose me," blah blah blah. It was from her saying, "You gotta make a choice. Like either you're gonna be with me or you're not gonna be with me."
Come on, you gonna be serious? You're not gonna be serious. What's
You're
up?
not gonna be
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Andale.
So that put me into, okay, I gotta pray real fast and pray real hard and real deep.
Yeah.
And so I did. I started fasting and asking God to make me more like Him, so I can see what I need to see.
It's after we talk night and day and pray together and in the midst of my transparency, not to cut you off, babe,
No, you're fine.
but it just registered to me. We as women have to make a decision as well.
Yes.
Because even though God never said like that's your husband, but it was potential because he was highlighted. He was highlighted like any other soul. We laugh at this now when I say it, but I think you understand it now fully. Where when I say I didn't want to get married,
Oh, yeah.
but not in a religion matter of it's just me and Jesus. It's just I knew the responsibility was gonna be greater
Yes.
because I had to honor whoever this son is.
Yes.
And that's what God spoke to me on the couch. That's how
But she
I
did a call
felt.
of her own life too. So
Yeah.
knowing her own call, she's like, I doubt somebody would have put up with what I gotta go through with my family and this.
They don't have to really know how to cover
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and not that I never wanted to be, one thing I was afraid of, so I've heard a lot of
Like religious speech.
religious speak about, you could tell women still have some identity viewpoints on where they stand as a wife because there's still a lot of hurt there. So I just came out of a 6-month engagement.
Yeah.
And it was at church and live on YouTube. So it's
What?
during service. So can you imagine? So during the pandemic, we split our ways and both decided, more so me,
Yeah.
because God said, "I'll bless it, but this is not the fulfillment." So it was nothing against him. He had some ways that were familiar.
Yeah.
Not again, but overall, somebody can handle him. He was a good man, and he wanted God. He just wanted a wife, but a wife too soon. So, and I was like, we're moving too fast.
Yeah.
But religion speech was weighing on it, and this is right before the pandemic, for COVID, was weighing on it of he's a good man.
Good
you
man,
know.
Savannah.
Come on. So,
Man, they talking about waiting until he had a whole wife.
Man.
I'm sorry, but go ahead.
no, you going there. So, unfortunately, he had a lot of healing.
Yeah.
I'm not about to, after all that testimony I shared with you before,
Yes,
you
right.
know I didn't have time to
Right.
play like that. And I didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
either,
Yes.
and waste his
Amen.
time. So, I'm not gonna say we ended on good terms, we ended on God's terms. Sometimes that hurts even more
Yeah.
if you don't discern it accurately.
Discernment.
So I moved on, and unfortunately, I'm just doing a cooking show. Meet this man. I'm on the couch 2 days later, rolling off the couch. It's always the couch. I'm on the couch,
Oh, this is funny.
and I said, "Oh." Extra dramatic. My sister Melissa in the other room. She's like, "Kiddo, what's wrong with you?" Because I said it. I said, "Oh, Pastor, I keep thinking about this man. Oh, Lord."
Oh, wow.
And so I said, "Well, I'm gonna just pray." It wasn't a normal intercessory prayer of I'm seeing highlights of things. Sorry about this smoke, because
Okay.
they got stuff in here. It's on.
That was on that one.
Oh, thank you. See, new stove.
I did my best to be a good shoe show. Support goes both ways.
Yes, thank you so much.
Amen.
Oh, thank you.
Oh. So
Yeah,
you fell off the couch because you was thinking about your husband.
Yeah, which I didn't know,
Right.
but I
At the time.
knew then was
Wow.
that hit different. And I heard, "Love my son." No,
Yeah.
love my son.
Help my son. Love my
Help
son.
my son.
That's
Love my
what
son.
the Holy Ghost told you?
Yes.
And is that why you fell off the couch?
This is before she had came back that time and was telling me
Yeah.
she was going to submit and learn
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And I'm like, and that was another thing that she told me that really stuck out is she told me that the Holy Spirit had told her to help my son.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me that the Holy Spirit told her to love my son. She told me about to help my son.
Yeah, I
Help
was too
me.
scared.
Yeah.
I was too scared.
And so I found out about
It
that
was
part
Jesus
later.
type of love.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just say that.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
So help was
Yes.
part of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
I
what's
didn't wanna
funny about
speak
that is,
prematurely.
what's funny about that is by this time my sister is no longer working with me on the food truck.
Yeah, this ties in.
But my dad, we have the same biological dad. He calls her and he's like, "Tiff, please help my son. Tiff, are you helping my son? Please help my son. And not help your brother, because normally he was like, how you and your brother doing on the truck? You know, help your brother. Y'all doing this, y'all doing that. Here's some tips." And she tells me how he's like, "Please help my son. Please help my son."
This is before I tell him.
Yeah, so I'm already, I know this before, then she tells me when she comes back, the next day that's what God tells her. I'm like, wow. Wow.
That's what makes me really think I told you to submit the same day, because I wouldn't
Well, no, remember you didn't know you were helping that gonna help the same day. You didn't know you were gonna come back to help me until that next day.
No,
Because remember you were gonna bring back your business
I really
plan?
sat there the first day, and it was, when you were talking about the business, because Melissa was with me the same time. I was by myself.
You were by yourself, yeah?
Yep. So I did mention submit the first day. But I didn't have the experience with the Holy Spirit on the couch until the next day. So the obedience in the conversation still had to take place. I'm thinking business, but then God highlighted it's more to that. And this is not just somebody you interceding for either. So I'm thinking it's my normal time of prayer, and I was fighting it, and it hit harder. And I said, "Okay, God, yes." Like Peter with Jesus.
What are the seasonings that y'all are using? I'm sorry, I got to
Oh.
get my way over here.
So, since I'm making tacos, using ground cumin.
What is that, ground cumin? Okay.
To give it the taco flavor instead of the packages, because the packages aren't really healthy for you.
Okay.
Aren't
And it gives
healthy.
it the taco flavor.
And this gives it the taco flavor.
Okay.
Of course, you gotta have your seasoning though.
Got
Yes,
to.
got to. So I'm trying, I usually will use this pink Malaya
Okay. So,
seasoning,
yeah.
but I'm trying something, because we run out of this too fast.
Okay.
So I'm trying to calm down, because part of cooking and chefs, we have so many different seasoning, and stuff is getting pricey.
Yes, it is.
So I just found this salt today at Sprouts.
Real salt,
So
okay.
I'm gonna I'm gonna give it a try.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Yeah.
she always uses lots of extra virgin olive oil.
Yes.
She rarely, I mean, she normally cooks in like avocado oil or olive oil.
Yeah.
Um,
If I'm a have it, I'm gonna do it in moderation.
Yeah.
But this is my signature go-to.
Liquid smoke.
Liquid smoke.
Okay.
It gives your veggie tacos pop like you got meat on it.
Ooh, I'm gonna try that.
yeah, that's a good
Okay.
secret. That's a secret that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad she
Yeah.
used that to my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm almost done. I'll bring this over as well. This is the ground lamb that's already been seasoned.
Okay.
With the cumin and the new salt. So we'll see how that comes out.
Can you tilt a little bit
Yeah,
so the camera
absolutely.
can see it?
Yep. It's not quite done yet.
Oh, that
but
looks amazing.
yes. Does it smell
Yummy.
gamey to you?
Uh-uh.
Yes,
Oh.
ma'am. That's liquid smoke. Ooh. Cheese.
Yeah, I eat cheese.
Okay.
What kind of cheese is that?
This is chipotle cheese.
Okay.
So this gives a little pop as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we're not.
Gouda. That's Gouda.
That's Gouda. Yes, I forgot to mention that part.
It's
So
Gouda cheese?
this is Gouda cheese.
Okay, yeah.
Smoked Gouda.
Smoked Gouda.
Smoked
cheese.
Gouda chipotle.
Oh, okay.
And
Smoked.
So my wife taught me something. I hear a lot now, but she taught me something about cheeses. We try not to buy already shredded bag cheese as much now because of most of the time you get more processing and that you get more preservatives that don't have to be there.
Okay.
Versus if you look at the block, they're usually around the same price.
Yeah.
You just gotta put a little more. And actually, it's easier to grate your own cheese than you think.
For those who like cheese.
Yeah, and you don't have to get all of those unnecessary preservatives and
Oh.
things in your your body. So
That's good
it's
to know.
better to grate your own cheese if you can, if you have time. If you got to go to the bag every now and then, hey, it happens.
Yeah,
the best
it
time.
happens. We
It
got
happens
3
the
of
best
them
time.
in there now.
Yep,
from
we do it
transitioning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
it's
that's
always
good
better
to
to
know.
shred your own if you can.
And it tastes better, right?
And it tastes better.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Now I wish you would have told me earlier you're making
Right.
shrimp tacos. I would have told you to get the stuff for my
Sauce. Oh, I was thinking about you.
You should have told me.
I was thinking about you and that sauce, but
So at Texas Release Cafe, when I have my food truck in Austin, I have my own house sauce for the shrimp tacos, fish
Yes.
tacos.
Oh,
That's how
man.
you want me.
So what advice would y'all give to people who want to be men and women who want to be married? How should they, how can they prepare?
So that's the first thing is really making sure that you are going to put God first. Eve, don't mess up like Adam did, where you put Eve before God. Make sure that above all, you can still hear God when God sends you that blessing.
yeah, that was definitely an answered prayer that he knows how to seek God for himself.
Yeah.
That
And she
whole
does
thing
too.
of the woman being the prayer warrior or whatever the case may be, we should all definitely still have our own.
We share God with each other. We share God for ourselves, but we also share God with each other.
Yeah.
And so it's important that you have that personal relationship with God and you're serious about God, so that way you know how to. Because life is full of a lot of bobbing and weaving,
Yes.
and grooving, and I call them weird situations.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
if with having a close relationship with God, you'll be able to navigate those situations better.
It sustain
Can
you
you
too.
cut
Yeah.
this tomato?
Yeah.
Just like the introduction of how your relationship with God, right, is in increments. It's the more you desire God, the more He's gonna reveal Himself.
Mhm.
So in marriage, the more you desire God in the order of marriage,
Mhm.
which is the husband being the head of the home, that's something you could take in your singleness and know that, okay, I gotta trust this man. And as a woman, I was looking for that, but I didn't know I was looking for that, so I had to become unlearned and still learning.
Yeah.
Still learning, but understanding the honor of the weight during your singleness is you're still gonna take that honor into the relationship. And then it doesn't make it as hard when the Holy Spirit is talking to you about things that He's trying to work out of you. So our conversations, especially lately, have been about honor and understanding the importance of God's order, because everything's been out of order. So of course it's gonna be out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And so that's the importance of casting down vain imaginations.
Yeah.
So if your thoughts, like for me as a woman, as a wife, if my thoughts try to supersede my husband's, I'm also superseding God.
Yeah.
Because now I'm leaning on my own understanding. And that's another thing I was afraid of. Also seeing a lot of things being prophetic, you know, and understanding like, okay, Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
Yeah.
So if God's revealing it to me, if he doesn't get it, how about I just pray about it?
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
So in your singleness, that's one thing I had to train my mind.
Yeah.
Submit. Submit. Submit, instructions come. Submit, instructions come.
Yeah.
Don't wait for God to have to, you know, it says submit yourself, not God's gonna make you sit down and think about what you've done. That's discipline.
Yeah.
That's self-control.
Yeah.
That we should have automatically as we're growing and not just learning and using that wisdom. If we're lacking it, to ask until freely give it to them.
I think one of the things, that this is mostly for the guys, but the ladies might be able to glean something off this too, is for us as men, as much as you can even before you get married, learn how to die.
Yeah.
Like you gotta learn how to put your own
dead man walking.
your own thoughts, your own willpower, your own strength, your own way of seeing things, your own way of doing things. You gotta put it to death, because honestly, the more you fight against what God is trying to lead you into, the more you're unwilling to that, the harder it is. But the more you really submit to God and lean into the death of your flesh and into the life of Christ, the more God really shows you His grace in a lot of things. And so learning how to die to live, like learning how to die to live. Yeah, because this is the thing. Like I didn't realize. Like I thought I knew about, I got favor, and I thought I knew I got grace for this, grace for that. But there's another level of grace that God sometimes gives you where it hurts at first. And I say it hurts at first because it's not your own strength. Like when you used to do things your own strength and it's not what you expected, it kind of hurts at first because you have an expectation. And sometimes you have familiar spirits telling you you need, like Paul said, I have a law in my members. So sometimes there's a law in your members that's working against you, thinking I need this, I gotta have it. Everybody know that you need this, and everybody know that you need that, and everybody know this should be this way. Well, sometimes that law is working against you, and God wants to give grace to that situation.
Yeah, wow.
And so I had to learn, like, okay, when I recognize the grace, when I recognize, okay, this is not bothering me as bad as it should or it used to. Or this isn't as hard as it should be or it used to be. Okay, God is giving me a grace here, so I don't have to like make myself upset. I don't have to make myself do what I'm used to doing. I can just lean into the grace and know that I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I found out that God will give you almost like, I hate to say it like this, almost like a supernatural strength, a supernatural ability in your mortal body to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. And you normally were like, hey, this would have took me out, 10 years ago. This would took me out 2 years ago. But there's a grace that we can lean into in God, where He gives you strength in your natural body to do what seemingly is impossible. Guys really need to know that, because what if something happened to your wife's health? What if something happened to your family?
We've had those challenges. yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've had in our intimacy, it got real.
Mhm.
It got really. I mean, had to learn sickness and health.
Yeah.
Sickness and health,
Quick.
rich and poor.
Or
Yep.
that's
All of that.
the word speaks about that. Nothing.
Mhm.
God, His breath is on that.
Yep.
His breath is on His word. So it's like living that out. It can become challenging if you're
If
not
you're not leaning into the
principled, if you're
grace.
not leading into the grace.
And even in the case of a disagreement, you know, there is such our apostle Howard Henry talks about the DAP, the divinely appointed pause.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we get in trouble because we talk too fast, and sometimes the Spirit is would help us. He'd help us if we're slow to speak and we take those divinely appointed pauses.
That's good. Ooh.
And that divinely appointed pause, you will find sometimes the information you need to make the right,
Ooh.
to go the right way.
Sweetie. That's
Yeah.
good. Mm.
That's very important. And this is something I'm still working on. I think we've gotten a lot better about is neither one of us are out to hurt each other.
Yeah.
So when something is we're having a difficult conversation or
They do
disagreement.
get difficult.
Because you're going to have disagreements. You're going to have difficult
Yes.
conversations. So when you have those moments, and especially if it's something that doesn't make sense, like I had to stop saying that don't make sense. What I have to learn to do is ask more questions. Because she's not, she's very intelligent. So since she is very intelligent, if she's saying something to me that doesn't make sense because I don't calculate in my head left, right, sideways, then ask more questions because she might be looking at it from a different angle. And so instead of to each other saying things that could be hurtful, don't leave a way out, or you don't see yourself being judgmental, but you're just trying to get to the answer, right?
Yeah.
And so, but instead of just kind of being like, huh, or what, you have to ask more questions. And usually in asking more questions, you get the information you need to see where your partner's coming from.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Get closer.
Oh yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. So we have the shrimp cooked here, and we have the 2 cheeses, tomatoes, avocados. Just gonna slice that on there.
What is this?
These are jalapeno chips.
Oh.
So that gives that typically will go on here. But since you are light on I'm not going to put that on because it's about what you craving for.
Yeah. Thank
Maybe
you.
put it on the
Okay.
side, you can try a few and
Yeah.
see what it's
Oh,
spicy
okay.
for.
Yeah, I'll just put a little on the side.
Yeah.
All right. And we want a little picayo since we don't have any sauce.
Yes.
Give it a little
please.
more.
Yeah.
There we are.
Now, have you had lamb tacos before?
No, I only eat seafood.
Yes,
Oh.
that's why I wanted to prepare.
Nice,
Don't
nice.
eat. But I think I may have had lamb in the past. Maybe.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool. Reminds me of the disciples. I thought about that before. The majority of the diet, I'm sure, was a lot of fish.
It's so good for you.
Yes.
So there we
Ooh,
are.
that's my plate.
This is your plate.
Thank you. Hey.
And let me
Oh,
know.
that looks amazing. Wow.
Let me get you a napkin.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
That looks delicious.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for
Share with
having me. Thank you so much.
It's an
for
honor.
having me.
We have to we have to do it again and
So I had a sauce.
we have the sauce.
I gotta get it. Gotta get it right.
Yes.
So.
Yes.